Welcome to Channel AMake, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on a little bell on the side so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one of getting all the insight. Now today's video is all about bridging visa and work right. Now it's a very generic information and introduction to the visa and what you can do in Australia. Although we have our channel for more than 2 or plus 3 years almost, we haven't really discussed this. It's because it's a very simple question and answers. However, I do get a lot of queries, so might as well just get this video done so you know your right and what you should be doing. So obviously there has been a lot of, if you're a viewer or fan of my channel, you probably have been to Australia, whether or not it's going to be student visa, working holiday visa, whatever the visa that you have. But while you arrive in Australia, traditionally your first visa perhaps will be a visitor visa, because if you haven't been visiting Australia at all, why would you seek to migrate or perhaps getting other type of visa to continue staying in Australia? So obviously if you want to continue staying in Australia, you need to seek a way for living. And the way for living is you need to get a job and get employment, get work, so you can pay and you can pay for your living. So the next question will be, when can I start working? Now, how the visa works, obviously if you are in Australia unsure, as long as you have a valid visa lodged and submitted, you will get a bridging visa. Now the bridging visa, obviously it doesn't spell much of what you can actually do, and there's not much of information that you can actually get from immigration itself as well, apart from, yeah, it's free because it gives it to you straight away automatically. Obviously there's no processing time required because it's automatically granted at the time of your lodging a valid visa application. So what does this visa do? It allows you to stay lawfully until your substantive visa application is finally determined. So perhaps if your visa is required to wait for 2 years, it's like some of the subclass 1AA visas, then you get bridging visa for 2 years. There is no end date to this visa. Well, some people will say, great, so there's no end date, let's do it. Yeah, but let's have a look at the second point. It says work if you meet the requirement for work. Now what does that mean? That is a very generic information. Now some people do not get work right while they're having a bridging visa. Why? Now let me explain. Perhaps if you generally your visa conditions under your bridging visa will continue with the condition of your previous visa. So for example, if your previous visa is a travel and visitor visa and you lodge for a work visa, perhaps, just give you a scenario, obviously your work visa, once it's granted, you will have the right to work. But during that waiting period, if you're going to wait for 12 months, for example, some of the people were waiting for their 482 visa, 408 visa, they waited for a month, perhaps a year. Now, if your visa condition continues as what your previous visa had, then that means you cannot work for 12 months. What can we do? Okay, so in this scenario, what you're required to do is you are required to go and apply for work permit. Now, there is information about work rights and visa protections in the Home Affairs Department of Immigration website. Again, it doesn't give you much information, despite they giving you what visa you can actually work and blah blah blah. So a lot of people will perhaps inquire for a visa agent, migration agent, visa consultant, or lawyer in assist of this one. Now, in a simple way that you're required to do is logging into your IMI account, and under the visa category you already applied for, there is a button that you can actually apply for work right. Now, obviously, if your substantive visa does not have a work right, for instance, you are extending a travel visa to another travel visa, then obviously apply for work right will not suffice anyway. But if your substantive visa is an application, for example, a work visa or perhaps a partner visa, obviously you have a family in Australia, then your work right application will be approved, provided you have all the documentation required to prove under the circumstances that you are in. So what is the relationship between bridge visa and work visa? Obviously, there's so many people come into Australia and they say, oh, look, I have applied this visa. Can I work now? Now, the answer to this question is, first of all, has your current visa expired? And do you have a bridging visa? Now, you may receive a bridging visa straight away automatically once you press that submit button. However, you may see your bridging visa showing it's inactive. Why is that? Because your current visa is still valid. So it will the activation of this bridging visa will only kick in once the expiry of your current visa occurred. So if you want to apply for your work rights, well, technically you are required to apply it once your bridging visa has been activated, meaning that 1 day after the expiry of your current visa, which will supposedly be a travel visa. But let's get into another scenario. If your current visa is a student visa that allows you to work now, and you apply for a graduate temporary PSW 485 visa, there's a gap or bridging visa again. Can you work? Yes, you can work. Now, remember, your bridging visa does inherit what the previous visa's condition would have. Now, student visa does have a restriction on work right, but it only says you can only work and being restricted at the time where you're attending a full course program. Meaning that if you're on holiday season, vacation, you can have a full work right. And if you're graduated, obviously, there's no full-time course attendance it require. Of course, you can work full-time. Anyhow, this video explains how the relationship between bridging visa and your work right. Should you have more question or query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below. And I'll see you next video. Goodbye.